We've been having a lot of conversations lately, and I think what's really interesting is when we get together like this and we just have these sort of informal chats. How do we design for the UAE climate?
Yeah, I think we need to fit all of that with all people. Like, for example, to have some comfortability. It's not related to the temperature itself, maybe some collab areas, some areas, like to give this feeling of comfortability. And even the lighting, where they sitting on the desk and they working, maybe the anti-glare lighting, this is a bit give this feeling. And yeah, I think this is maybe some parts of this solution.
When we come from outside, which is at 45 degrees, and we come into an environment, then it's sort of almost like it's Arctic cold, right? Yes. So how does that make people feel emotionally, you know, in terms of should we be transitioning into going from heat until it's getting a little bit, you know, it's gradual. Sort of gradual, right? Yeah. And you know, we even know in some of the, when we are designing MEP, it's most important to get that sort of comfort level. And how do we do that, right? You know, as you're saying, in terms of these location, or sort of these areas within what we do, is it more of a temperate zone to these more focused type areas? Because if they're closed, are they a little bit more mild? And we need more air in our workstation, you know, our sort of more open areas. How does that all look?
Yeah. In fact, when you get into details, you obviously also have to think about thermostats and how many thermostats you're putting, locations in the entire office space. And even things like where are you putting your AC grill, where is the outlet, where is the inlet, how is the flow. So there's more depth in the MEP design if you look at it in a proper way when you're thinking about heat and all of that. Also heat map. You'll also have to look at the external glazing. How much heat are you getting from the glazing?
Especially when most of the Dubai buildings are full of glass.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. It's interesting. We don't necessarily design for climate, do we?
Even the direction, sun path, everything matters.
Sometimes even it's not related to the heat, related to the lighting. Like the sun facing you all the time, and this is give you very bad feeling as well. It's not related to how is you feeling as a cold, as a temperature, but as well as an effect of your screen or your desk or even your vibe inside the place.
There's a lot of things actually. As being a designer, having that architectural, you know, background also, and basic fundamentals for interior design, we can actually make our design more responsive. Is what I would say, more adaptive. Like for example, for like a workspace, if we feel cold, we just adjust the thermostat.
Put on a jacket.
We also have our MEP team to add maybe more FCU, but we all know how that feels and we know how that looks, you know, on an open ceiling. So I feel like having the fundamentals, as I was saying, like, you know, starting on the architectural aspect of it, like designing maybe a building, you know, starting with the floor plan, studying the sun path, you know, making the length of the building from west to east, you know, preventing the sun, maximizing the views.
That's very important. I feel like that's something we miss out at times, but it's very important to understand that sun path and then design accordingly.
And one more thing for interior design, we can, there's a lot of aspects, you know, like biophilic, you know, and the list goes on. I think in HTS we're on the right path, you know, as we design, we're promoting more the outdoor, going to the indoor, you know, to make the environment more.
So what do you think are the biggest mistakes that companies make when they are designing offices in this region?
I think the mistake that we're facing now is focusing more on artificial, you know, built environment. I feel like it should be more into adapting, like, because us as a foreigner in this country, actually, personally speaking, during my first year here, I'm having trouble adjusting to the weather. But over the time, I kind of, you know, adapt into the climate. I think the design should be more towards that
You think more adaptive?
Yes, more adaptive.
Yeah.
But I can say more responsive to environments. What I can say.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
I feel-
And not having flexible workstations, workplaces, because nobody should be assigned to a desk in a way, so that even if they have a problem with, for example, lighting or AC or something like that, they have that flexibility to move around in the office, go to collab, go to a place where they feel comfortable, have that different kinds of environment to work also.
I think
Flexible
even
workspaces.
we try to design the space as a more traditional without giving a feeling, like we have now all of the workplaces looks like similar because it gives the same function, but we don't have this feeling that it's supposed to be there. I think this is very important because some people take it very functional, like it have a purpose and that's it. We just go there to work and finalize that, and without even have this kind of experience and emotion with the space.
Yeah, I think it's a good point because we almost need to design to be transitional.
Yeah.
As you say, it shouldn't be fixed. It shouldn't be a fixed environment where everyone has their place, right? That's what we try to do every day, is to encourage different alternative working environments as well in what we do, which is, really important. Thinking about climate, and it's not always just about the heat either, but we know in this region it's generally, we talk about the longevity of the heat is more prominent than winter, say. How can we encourage people in the different climates to, utilise it in different ways?
I think maybe there is idea like we can simulate the same temperature
Outdoor
degree in
environment.
outdoor in normal days, like 37 or 30,
Yeah.
30 degree, So by this way, I think we will feel like it's still feeling that we are in expressing this kind of climate in normal days without having this only air conditioning all the time.
And I think too, we don't necessarily even just talk about their office, but the whole entire building as well.
So to have something.
Exactly right. There's a space on a certain floor that is built like an outdoor biophilia hub, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you feel like you're
It's still
out.
a bubble, but it's still
Exactly.
simulating the normal climate.
Exactly. Actually, you're actually outdoors. I know in Australia we did a couple of those where they did these old office buildings that were really starting to get a bit decayed, but what they did was on certain floors that they created these terrarium type spaces, so you could go and have your lunch, entertain, and they were like a beautiful, like when you go to London and you go into the beautiful old conservatories and things like that. It was, I don't see why we can't do that here.
Yeah, true.
Do it more
Bringing
often.
the outdoors
Outside.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially for a country like Dubai, UAE, we should do that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
We should start encouraging it in our.
I think
In our
developers
designs,
they need
right?
to have something as a solution
Yeah.
for this, like a space people
I like
socializing
buildings
together.
which have that center atrium or more of
Yeah.
indoor-outdoor terraces on each floor, so that the office spaces can be designed in that way as well.
Yeah.
I've seen such co-working offices
Yeah.
which has an indoor space. Also, they have a terrace space which they also rent it out.
Yeah.
So that is also a good business model for anybody, which is great to have those things.
I totally agree, because there's a number of new buildings here too that are being built, but they still have those outdoor environments. But like we're talking about, you might not only be able to use it for 3-4 months of the year.
Yeah.
So how do you redesign those to be able to effectively be used 12 months of the year?
12 months.
What's one design feature that people rarely notice about what we do but makes a huge impact or a huge difference?
For me, I think biophilia for sure. Yeah, it just it helps in many ways, not just the aesthetics. It's about reducing your stress. It just gives that freshness, that life to the space. So I feel biophilia is extremely important, especially in this current generation where everything is super fast paced. Everything is like lot of artificial elements going around the space. So biophilia for me is extremely important.
I agree, because it's so interesting when you see something that's alive
Yeah.
and it sort of brings on a totally different. I know if I'm stressed or I'm feeling a bit angst, I just need to go and hug a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or take your shoes off so you can feel the
Feel the
floor.
ground.
It's those sort of things that is so much more important for us to be including. Even we do sort of these very typical biophilic type elements, but to bring in more, what's something a little bit different that would make people feel.
In fact, many of the hospitals have gone into this biophilic design to make their patients recover faster and better. And
Does
it's a case study, like we should all have that research on. More in Singapore, I have studied about it. It's so great, and there are studies which shows that patients actually do recover faster, better, be it mental health, be it like a physical recovery. Still, when those particular rooms which are more connected to nature, recover faster than those rooms which are fully blocked. No daylight, no nothing there outside for a view, even more like in a basement. The patients are affected actually. So,
and I think that comes back to this temperature thing too, because it's a psychological comfort, right?
Yes.
If someone feels too hot or too cold,
they can't work. They will have that difficulty to work.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I think this is the next thing, of course, because like we're leading into, can workplace actually improve the way that people's well-being, during a Dubai summer? Is it something that we could start to incorporate more and more into our design, just in subtle ways that is part of what we do, that can help with people's well-being? Because we tend to forget that we're at work potentially more than we're doing anything else, right? If we're not sleeping, we're at work. This one knows that well.
Yeah, exactly. You're spending more time at work compared to the time you spend with family and back home. It's an unfortunate thing, but that's the reality. So it's extremely important to design workplaces so that it's for people, it's for end users. It's not just for aesthetics or brand. At the end of the day, it should be designed for people. Yeah.
What do we incorporate into our designs at the moment? Like, we try to encourage, those sort of wellness rooms. And,
Wellness.
100%.
Because at the end, it looks like a home. So it's supposed to have all of these kind of corners at home, like in this place. Gym, wellness places, and even some places for yoga and places to socialize as well. All of this, because at the end, people are spending much time there, so they need to interact and to have some experiences as well with each other. I think it will give the well-being another level.
Yeah, that's the future of workplaces, I would say. It's not just about working, it's about collaboration, comfort, well-being, everything all together, and not just mental health, but looking at physical health as well. Just finding that perfect balance and then blending that into your design.
If there was one bit of advice you could give to our clients, what would it be about this particular topic? What would it be?
Listen to us.
Listen to us. Yeah, that's the best advice.
Design for the people, not for the square meterage, right, or something.
Some of the clients actually, they will go to Pinterest, but
Yeah,
they will not know what is called, but it's our responsibility to name it for them.
Educate, that's the word.
Let them know the benefits and non-benefits for the whatever they are asking. To educate.
I would say think beyond aesthetics.
True.
That's it.
And designing
More
for all year,
functionality.
right? So just don't design for January, design for August.
All the year.
Right? So, or
Yeah.
just think about what that looks like. Because
And
it's also,
influence.
the important things about even circadian lighting, right? We know in here, lighting is really important for what we do. It's all that whole cycle, right?
Yesterday, I actually saw a video wherein in an office in Japan use adaptive lighting for the full day. So morning they have a different temperature for the full office of lights. After lunch they have a different temperature because after
People
lunch
might
you
get
feel
drowsy.
a little bit drowsy. so they adapt lighting mood according to that. So that I think those principles can be applied to all MEP services, like especially AC and
All
lighting.
automation.
Yeah, automation, so
Definitely.
that you feel more comfortable and not all the day you have the same mood.
That's right.
That's very
Yeah,
important.
that's a
Morning
good
you're very
idea.
active, but by the time you have your lunch and evening you feel a little bit low and want to go home.
Yeah, it's true,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So accordingly, the services can be designed in that way.
It's so important about the emotion. So, thinking about how people feel from the moment they arrive in their workspace, or even to the building. I know when I walk in, I'm like, oh God, I go from one extreme to the next, right?
Yeah,
You're almost
yeah.
shocked into
That's actually
coming
not
in.
even good for health.
No.
Yeah.
That's not even good for health also.
Yeah.
So yeah, there should be some place to transition, and that can be one of the aspects we put in.
Like a foyer or something.
Some
It's a different
foyer.
case here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Maybe we should get more involved in designing buildings as well as climbing can get on top of it.